So in this problem, we're looking at a work problem situation where you have the same job. If one was doing it, it would take this amount of time. If the other one was doing it, it would take this amount of time. And we want to know how long does it take for them to do it together. Well, in this case, we're given what it takes for them to do it together, and we're asked to find what it takes for them to do it individually. We're told that the weekly news magazine has a big story naming the person of the year, and the editor wants the magazine to be printed as soon as possible. She has asked the printer to run an extra printing press to get the printing done more quickly. The first press, press number 1, takes 6 hours more than the second press, press number 2, to do the job, and when both presses are running, they can print the job in 4 hours. So that's when they're together. So, press number 1 takes 6 hours more than press number 2. So let's just go ahead and define things in terms of press number 2. Let's say the number of hours that it takes press number 2 to do the job is X hours. Well, then the number of hours it takes press number 1 to do the job would be X plus 6. And we're told that together it takes them 4 hours. So what's the part of the job that press number 1 does? Well, if we're looking at one job, 1 divided by X plus 6, the number of hours that it takes it to do it alone. For press number 2, it would be one job divided by X number of hours. And last but not least, together, if it takes them 4 hours to do the job total, each hour they're going to be doing 1/4 of the job. So we'd end up with 1 divided by 4 here. So the per hours are going to equal 1 over X plus 6 plus 1 over X is going to equal 1/4. So 1 over X plus 6 plus 1 over X equals 1/4. So now we multiply by the least common denominator of all of them. That's going to be X plus 6 times X times 4. So if we multiply 1 over X plus 6 times X plus 6 times X times 4, we're going to end up with 4x plus 1 over X times X plus 6 times 4 is going to be 4 times X plus 6. And then 1 over 4 times X plus 6 times 4. Well, 4 times 1 over 4 is just 1, so this is going to be X times X plus 6. Now we multiply through and simplify. So 4x plus 4x plus 4 times 6 is 24 equals x squared plus 6x. Let's move everything to the right-hand side and then make the right-hand side the left-hand side, so we end up with a positive x squared. So x squared plus 4x, or 4x plus 4x is going to be 8x. So 6x minus 8x is going to be minus 2x. And then we don't have a constant on the right-hand side, so subtracting 24 from both sides, we get minus 24. That's going to equal 0. Now, will it factor? Let's hope it does, because that makes things simpler. Are there two numbers that multiply to negative 24 that add to negative 2? Well, since it's a negative value, we know one number is going to be positive, one number is going to be negative if it does factor. Well, what about 6 and 4? 6 times 4 is 24. And if the 6 is negative, then it ends up being negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. So this is going to be x minus, or plus. We know it's going to be, one's going to be minus, one's going to be plus, because again, it's negative 24. We know the 6 is going to be negative because we want negative 2. So x minus 6 times x plus 4 equals 0. Let's check that. X times x is x squared. plus 4x minus 6x is minus 2x, and then negative 6 times 4 is negative 24. Well, we know that it's not going to be or x equals negative 4. We can't have a negative time. So we know that x equals 6. So press number 2, that's x, would take 6 hours alone. And press number 1, how long would it take? Well, it's x plus 6. So 6 plus 6, it would take 6 plus 6, x plus 6 equals 12 hours alone. So doing the job together, it takes them 4 hours. Doing it separately, it would take press number 2 6 hours, and it would take press number 1 12 hours.